Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday, the 27th of September 2024. In today's Millwall news, we start off with this from empireofthecop.com. It's a Liverpool fans site, and we now have confirmation that Calum Scanlon is injured. He's set to be out for 3 months with a stress fracture. So let's have a read of this. Liverpool defender Calum Scanlon has returned to Liverpool to undergo further assessment and treatment after suffering an injury during his loan spell at Millwall. Club reporter James Pearce of The Athletic shared the unfortunate injury news for the 19-year-old fullback on X, who is understood to have suffered a stress fracture, and he's back. The issue is expected to keep the player out of action for approximately 3 months. And the tweet, we can read that now, says Calum Scanlon expected to be sidelined for around 3 months with stress fracture in his back. Young Liverpool fullback returned to Merseyside from his loan spell at Millwall to be assessed and undergo treatment at Kirkby. Earlier today, head coach Arne Slot, and they're talking about something else. Our young fullback had yet to really get going in this championship loan spell, featuring in an 11-minute cameo for Millwall in their 1-0 defeat to Fleetwood Town midway through September. Scanlon had joined on a season-long loan, but his manager confirmed his departure on Wednesday, with an initial timescale on his injury return unclear. We're disappointed to lose him, because he's something completely different to what we've got in the squad, as a very attacking-minded fullback. The Lions manager Neil Harris was quoted as saying by the Lancashire Post. And then they just talk about Calum Scanlon and his career so far. So, confirmed 3 months out. Stress fracture in your back. What do you do about that? How do you fix that? Obviously, you can't put a cast in it. Do you just drink lots of calcium? Are there injections? What happens now? I don't know. But, wish him a speedy recovery, because I wish, in 3 months' time, you assume that once he does get fit, he comes back. And hopefully he does come back and starts to push Joe Bryan, because a lot of people are not happy with Joe Bryan's defensive performances. He's doing okay going forward, but defensively, not so much. Now, moving on to this from the southernnews.co.uk. So, Mill's new director of football sheds light on club's vision and gives verdict on boss Neil Harris. Steve Gallens, Mill's new director of football, gave insight into the club's long-term vision regarding transfers and youth development in a recent interview with Millwall TV. Gallens, who joined the club in May of this year, also offered his opinion on manager Neil Harris. The vision is to create more assets, bring some young players through the academy, and buy some younger players like we did in the summer, Gallens said. James wants us to be a club that's producing our own. He's well aware of the expectations at this football club, and I am too, after being here for a few months. People want to see commitment, fire and desire on the pitch, and hopefully the lads that we brought in can show that. However, Calum was keen to point out the important role senior players still have at the football club. We're trying to be a club that develops our own players and be developers of players that we bring in. But of course, we won't lose sight of the senior players that are already in the building. We've got some big characters. We've got some men, some leaders, and we want to have a good balance between the two. Speaking about his own expectations, having worked as head of recruitment at Charlton Athletic, Gallens described youth development as his passion. I think deep down that's really my passion, to see younger players come through, develop them, support them, help them, get them into the first team. But even then, keep it supporting and developing them, Gallens said. Romain Esse is a good example of that right now. Mill's new director of football has also had some kind words about the current manager, Neil Harris. We're lucky we have a manager who's a winner, and that's what I would describe Neil Harris as a winner. He's Mr. Millwall as far as I'm concerned. He's very passionate and he's a winner, and I can see it on the touchline during the matches. I can see it before games when I go down and see him, just to talk to him about the team and wish him all the best and maybe speak about the opposition. He's fully focused on winning football games for this club and getting the most out of the players that he puts on the pitch. I've known Neil for a long time, and when I came into the club, he made me very, very welcome. Every day we either sit down and talk or talk outside of the training pitch, and we're talking about players mainly, and it's not just about the younger players. We're talking about all the senior players as well, and I had a good chat about George Saville, for example. He has 200 league games for the club and plays for Northern Ireland. He's an experienced player and a great person to have around the club for everybody, whether you're a senior player, staff member, or a younger player. I have to give a lot of credit to the manager. He dropped everything to come and meet a player, and any time I said, "Look, Neil, I need you for this Zoom call in 2 hours time," or "Neil, we've got to go somewhere tomorrow," myself and Neil, we jumped on the train and we travelled the length of the country to meet somebody just for half an hour, and then jumped straight back again. So he was unbelievably supportive. He really wants the very best for this football club. He's demanding of everybody, but he's fun, and we have a good laugh every day, and there are jokes, but I don't lose sight. He wants to win, and so do I, and so does everybody at the football club. In his interview, Gallon emphasised the importance of reducing the age of the club's players. We have to try and make the squad age younger for the future of the football club, Gallon said. And that means there needs to be a mixture of bringing up some of the younger lads through the academy, and that's ideally what we want to do, but also bringing some in. So we're trying to create some assets at the football club, and we're looking at becoming more sustainable. We're putting a lot of weight and expectation financially every year on the Berylson family, and they've been unbelievably supportive of this football club for many years, and we want to give that back. And we want to get our own lads through, but the senior players are superb and have been since the first day I walked through the door. The club's loan policy was another key topic for discussion for Gallon, who recognised that under-21 football is not a sufficient test regarding a player's suitability to the Championship. I think most people will recognise now that there's a gap between under-21 football and the Championship level, so we've got to try and bridge that gap, to go from the under-21s like Tom Leahy and Chin have done, and Kamal, of course, into the National League or League 2, and that's the stepping stone really into our first team. I don't want to put any added pressure on those lads, but they're all out playing and we're monitoring them. Every one of the staff members, between the under-21 coaches and the recruitment staff, everybody's got their own player that they'll have to report back on, but we mix it up so that we get different sorts of views, and they're all doing well. And that's pretty much the stepping stone. We always hope for the lads, but it doesn't always work like that. Romain didn't have to do that. He went straight into the first team, but he's had to be patient. He didn't get all the games he wanted last year, but he's playing regularly now, and he's obviously doing superb. But everybody has a different pathway, and I think all the lads on loans are thinking about is that they're out on loan to try and come back to us as better players who can get in our first team. Gallon also discussed the club's new long-term contracts for SA and young midfielder Alfie Massey. Alfie did really well in pre-season, so we're very happy to reward him with a long-term contract. He deserves it, and he's definitely one for the future, and we like him a lot. He's very good technically. He wants to get on the ball, and he's a very good footballer. Regarding Romain, when I first came into the club, one of the first things the board says to me was, we want to try and tie down Romain and Jafet. So I worked hard on that, but it wasn't just me. All the staff were brilliant. I think the pathway was the main thing for Romain, or why Romain's representatives committed themselves to the football club, was because they saw that you can get in the first team, and you can play in the first team, and you can develop in the first team, and so that's the main thing they saw, as well as the support from the chairman, and why we were about to tie him down to a long-term contract. Of course, I was really, really pleased about that. So that is the gist of the interview. If you haven't seen it yet, if you've got a Millwall profile, you can watch it, and it's on the Millwall TV on the official club website. Now, moving on to this from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. In depth with Millwall summer signing Femi Azeez. Ex-Reading winger used devastating Watford release to rebuild career through the non-league route. Femi Azeez was left devastated after his release from Watford as a teenager, but kick-started his career in non-league. The winger snapped up by Millwall in the summer transfer window, signed with the Hornets at the age of 9, but was released 5 years later. Westminster-born Azeez, 23, signed for local side Northwood FC, who were plying their trade in the Southern League East Division, a semi-professional division. I dropped my way back down to get my fitness going, Azeez told the South London Press. It was a devastating time for me after being released by Watford. Football was all I knew, and I had to think, what am I going to do? I always had one eye on football, but being thrown that curveball at such a young age, opened my eyes and made me realise I had to focus on my studies. It was difficult, but I had a good support system with my parents and my brother, and they helped me through the tough time. It worked out for the better. I started at the bottom and climbed up. Azeez broke into the Northwood first team at 15 and had to adapt from playing against similar age groups to being tackled by fully grown men. Oh, I enjoyed it. Yeah, academy football was all nice and playing tiki-taka football along the floor. Men's football was fighting every game. It was more of a mental thing. Even though the quality wasn't as high, as playing in the Championship or the League One last season, it's a different side of the game. Regardless of what the level is, it was always there physically, but I wasn't having to think about tactics for the first time. It massively helped me. Azeez was quickly back on the rise up the football pyramid and was snapped up by a National League South side Wealdstone at the start of the 2018-19 season after a dozen senior appearances for Northwood. I wasn't as hard as I anticipated, said Azeez. I had good people around me. It was a massive step up, moving up 2 divisions. Playing for Wealdstone, was a more professional environment. They were semi-professional at the time, but we were playing on Saturdays and Tuesdays, and we also trained 3 times a week. It gave me more of insight in how the professional game would be. Azeez, who finished his full-time education during his time with Wealdstone, explored the opportunity of studying engineering at university, while he also looked to make it back into the professional game. I always backed myself. I went through the motions of getting into places at university, but football was my main focus. I could genuinely see the light at the end of the tunnel, That light for Azeez came in the shape of Reading's under-23 side. Then 18, he joined the Royals on a 1-year deal in September 2019, 4 years after his release from Watford. It was physically demanding to go from training twice a week to training every single day. It takes a toll on the body, and it took me a while to get used to it. There were some fantastic players there, the likes of Danny Loda, Michael Elise, Gabriel Osha. They had already broken into the first team or about to break into it. And they were the benchmark that I had to get to, while also working at my own pace as well. I think, weren't they in the Premier League at that time as well, weren't they? Elise played on the right and cut in on his left foot just like Azeez. The Reading Academy graduate moved to Crystal Palace in 2021 and became one of the most consistent wingers in the Premier League. He earned a £50 million move to German giants Bayern Munich this summer. Azeez said, there was this one game against Fulham against Craven Cottage where he was a joke, in how well he played. Everything he did was silky smooth. Azeez's brother Miguel is also a professional. He came through Arsenal and represented England at youth level. Ironically, I used him as a bit of a role model, said Azeez, who is older brother by 1 year. He was doing his thing and coming through the ranks at Arsenal really well. He made his debut in the Europa League. Azeez's brother has had spells with Portsmouth and Wigan in England, but moved to Greek second division side Pasginina on loan this summer. I saw the dedication, hard work he put in, and I thought, I need to match it and then better it to make sure I can get back to that level. We always pushed each other, I'm so grateful to him. Watching him inspired me. Azeez made his professional debut under Veljko Paunovic as a substitute in a 3-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday in March 2021. Despite only coming on in the 89th minute, he said, it was a relief. I thought, I'm here now. I haven't done it, but I've had my foot in the door. I used it as motivation to kick on and keep working my game. Azeez was thrust into the Reading starting lineup at the start of the 21-22 season following the departure of Elise. He started 4 championship games in a row and scored in games against Preston and Stoke. But as he was starting to build momentum in the second tier, his season was sporadic due to 2 separate hamstring injuries and a long-term ankle issue. It was difficult, the main thing at the time was figuring out what was going on, and I did, and I haven't been injured for 2 years, I learned a lot of resilience as well, coming back into the team for a week or a week and a half and then get injured again. It takes your toll on a player, I was 21 at the time, right at the beginning of my career, in the men's game I had to be strong and keep working in the gym. It shaped me for the better, I know what works now and what doesn't. Azeez really came into his own for Reading last season in League One and became a match winner for the Royals under ex-Southampton boss Ruben Sellers. He netted long-range efforts and racked up 17 goal contributions in 46 League One appearances. I was playing with a lot of confidence, he added. As a team, we didn't have a great start to the season, but from November onwards, once I got that first goal, I started flying. I was on top of the world, in a flow state, and I had people around me encouraging me. I love shooting from distance and scoring these types of goals. I've done it throughout my career. From Watford onwards, I enjoyed it last season. Azeez signed a long-term deal with the Lions this summer and has made 5 championship appearances as a substitute so far under Neil Harris. I'm settling in well, The championship's a step up from League One and I'm finding my feet again. Getting used to the tempo and the pace, and, I'm grateful for everything that's happened in the past. Everything that's happened has helped me get to where I am now. I want to get this club to the Premier League. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I want to show these fans that I do really care and the passion that I have, and I want to play out my skin week in and week out. Fantastic stuff to hear. I don't know about you, but I think it touches on something in the human spirit when you have not just footballers, but people in general around in life who have overcome real adversity to achieve something, where we have a lot of people around now, they play victim and they say, oh, me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm disadvantaged, and then you've got people like Femi Azeez and others, they get knocked back, they get up again. You're never going to keep them down. You know what I mean? And I think this kind of story where you have players who get released and then they come back I think it kind of makes them better people, if you understood, rather than someone who's got everything and he's super talented and is just maybe could be a touch arrogant or maybe a touch out of touch with the real world and the real people and the fans that are in the stands. But here we go, Femi Azeez. Now, obviously, we haven't heard yet. He started the under-21 game on Tuesday. He came off after 35 minutes. Because of the way that they only had a single camera and he was on the far side, I couldn't really see, if he was wasn't on the ground. He kind of did walk off, so was that a planned substitution? Did he need to leave at 2:30? Or is he injured? I don't know. But I guess we'll see tomorrow. Now, and I thought he did quite well in the QPR when he came on. So yeah, let's move on to this. So this is from southernnews.co.uk. Millwall midfielder says QPR game feels like 2 points dropped, but remains positive about the season ahead. Millwall midfielder George Honeyman said last Saturday's game against QPR feels like 2 points dropped after his side put in a strong performance away from home. However, Honeyman said he was sure that the results will follow for the Lions. Speaking about last Saturday's game at Loftus Road, Honeyman said, I thought it was a really good performance. I'm kind of just how the season's been going for us. We were playing well, but not getting our rewards for it, which is up there with the most frustrating thing in football. But as long as we keep putting in the performances, I'm sure that the results will follow. I was just really happy with how the lads played. And I thought we were in control away from home, and we just didn't take our chances. And that was the story of the game, really. We didn't take our chances. I think I don't want to be this guy, but I think you didn't take your chance. It was put on a plate for you, and I think you were kind of worried that the goalkeeper was going to smash you, so you kind of bottled it and you didn't score from 4 yards out. But I'm not, I'm not a hater. I'm not hating Honeyman, but it was really you. It wasn't really anyone else. Honeyman suggested the draw against QPR was a missed opportunity to pick up more points. I think we're taking a lead, and with how we played, it definitely feels like 2 points dropped, Honeyman said. But with it being so early on in the season, you can see where the wins are going to come. And it's not like we're in this position and you're thinking, oh God, I don't know where the next win's going to come from. We feel like we're playing well, and we feel like we're very close to putting together a good run. So because of the stage of the season we're in, I think we're still very positive about everything, and I know that the good times are ahead. Although Millwall have only won one league game so far this season, they've managed to score 9 goals across the opening 6 games. The signs are there that the Lions can go on and have an impressive season, provided they can turn positive displays into concrete victories. Indeed. Now, moving on to this. He showed the desire. Mill boss Harris on early assessment of Mihailo Ivanovic. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Neil Harris has expressed his happiness at club record signing Mihailo Ivanovic's eagerness to get his Millwall career off and running. The 19-year-old Serbian striker made his debut for the Lions as a 75th minute substitute in Saturday's 1-1 draw at QPR. In one stage, it looked as if Ivanovic was facing a lengthy wait for match action, with the South Londoners due to a foot injury which was picked up on medical test before his transfer deadline day move to England. But a London specialist had better news earlier this month about a timeline for the young forward, who was recently called up to the full Serbian national team, only to be sent back to Millwall due to a metatarsal injury and also a hamstring complaint. The Travelling Lions fans gave their new addition a warm welcome when he was introduced into the action at Loftus Road. Ivanovic won a couple of early aerial duels and was involved in a lead-up to a late chance for Femi Azeez, which was saved by Rangers keeper Paul Nardi. Oh, everyone keeps asking me, I understand why he's our record signing. Everyone's excited, about his future. But I'm not going to say too much about his performance after one 20-minute cameo or 3 training sessions that I've seen him in now, said Millwall head coach Neil Harris, talking to the South London Press on Tuesday. What I want to do is praise his desire to want to play and the fact that he could have been ruled out for a period of time, but his desire to train and be part of it. He showed his desire when he came onto the pitch to want to be involved. His attitude to press, run and work are basic hallmarks of a Millwall player, and that's the biggest thing I want to talk about with him at the moment. Everyone else will come in time when I'm able to assess and work with him more. Hopefully I can help him develop as a man and as a footballer. At the moment, it's one step at a time. First impressions of his mentality are very, very good. George Saville made his 200th appearance for Millwall in a derby in West London. Oh, he's a winner, said Harris. What defines winners in a Millwall shirt? Hatred of losing is how I defined it once to Mike Calvin in the family book. Sav has that character, he wants to score at one end and he doesn't want to concede at the other. He's had to adapt to his game because of the way the game has progressed and changed over the last 7 or 8 years, and but also because he's aged well. He's now more deep line, he wants to contribute at the top end of the pitch. Of course he does, I would love to see him on the score sheet. He's due to get on the score sheet for me, but he also has to protect his centre halves and back line. I'll talk about the glue, and someone like George Honeyman, he glues the attack and midfield together. George Saville glues the defence and the midfield together. They're important cogs of the wheel. Sav can keep going, he's not relying on pace, he's unbelievable energy, and he's had a fantastic pre-season in terms of the training and distance running. And that's the longevity for George Saville in a Millwall shirt. So there you go. Sav and Honeyman to start tomorrow then. Now, today was match day for the under-21s. And the page has reset itself, so I have to click on again. So, yeah, Mill went away all the way up to Fleetwood and they lost 2-1. Which was unfortunate because they took the lead in 10 minutes, and you thought, okay, here we go. Rahis Bangora Williams scored on the 10th minute, here we go. But 4 minutes later, Tommy Lonergan equalises for them, and then they score again in the 31st minute, and they had also a goal disallowed for offside. The ball was in the net. How I know that? I didn't go to the game. The game was free entry if you were up that way. I connected my iPad to my television whilst listening to the radio, but on the screen I had the Ladbrokes in play. They do live betting, and it's kind of like back to the CFAX days where you would look at the text on the screen, but with this they tell you like Millwall attacking, Millwall defending, what do they call it? They called it deep attacking or something. And then they tell you if there's an offside or a corner. Millwall had something like 13 corners. I think for most of the second half we were like all on them really, and just a shame we couldn't get the result and get away with it. You can see now that leaves us. So that's the second defeat of the season. Both of the defeats have been away games, Birmingham and Fleetwood. And obviously this was the second game of the week. We had a game on Tuesday and they got a game on Friday. And the game on Tuesday, a lot of the first team squad players who were still under the 21s played in that. Maku, Massey, Kelly, and also they had overage players like Harding and Murray Wallace, and the keeper was Ben Roberts as well. So quite a strong team for that home game, which meant that there was quite a weakened team for the away game today. So there's that. And I can share it. Obviously, we're waiting for the match report, which will probably, I imagine it will come out on Monday now, because like tomorrow's Saturday, and that's the main thing is on the first team on Saturday. So But yeah, so this was quite a young team for this trip. Because obviously they didn't play on Tuesday. George Evans in goal, Lamptey, Drake, Ollie Evans, Dyer, Mansour, Bangor Williams, Howland, Haywood, Baker and Hearn. And the subs were Whiteman, Preswosny, Abdulaziz, Whitby and Kendall. So in terms of seniority, I think what you're looking at, you're probably looking at Hearn and Bangor Williams. Really, I mean the rest of them are kind of, I mean Drake's of an age as well, but he's just come into the group after being released by Sheffield United last season. That's quite a young team, and obviously, even though it's the under 21s, a lot of these players, I think they still qualify for the under 18s. So, but that's the way we do it, and that's the way it goes, and that's, you play above your age grade. You make the step up and you figure it out, and you get together and everyone figures it out and they do it and they get better as the season goes on. So we'll wait to see. Obviously quite a few players out on loan as well. So players like Massey and Kelly, they're part of the first team squad, they won't be travelling to Fleetwood to playing games like this. And then you've got Shamal Lawson out on loan. You've got Chinockley out on loan. Chinockley is massive, like he's a rock. And interesting that even though he's been a rock for Millwall under 21s, Sutton United are having a horrid start to the season. He goes there, and immediately it's turned around. They've started to win now, and that's no coincidence. That's Chinockley is a quality player in the conference. So, they're missing some big players, and you just need to give them time to figure a few things out. So, there you go. Now, moving on to... Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. Bizarrely, so for some reason they've reversed the fixtures, probably because the ground that QPR were playing at wasn't available at short notice. Maybe there's some kind of cup game. So they've reversed it. It was listed about a week ago as QPR versus Millwall was the next game. This game is on Tuesday the 1st. Again, I imagine it'll be quite a young team for that game, because we have a game for the first team on that day in terms of Cardiff away. So again, we're probably looking at quite a young team, especially as I think QPR at the bottom of the table are not doing too well this season. So, no, in fact, let's have a little quick look. Yeah, they've lost 4 games. They won 3 and lost 4. So they're blowing hot and cold. So, but that's at the training ground on Tuesday. So we'll wait to see about that. Now, moving on to previewing the game tomorrow. So yeah, they're doing a donation for the Lions Food Hub. This is from millfc.co.uk. The Lions Food Hub will be joined by a Dutch TV crew this weekend as they seek donations. The Dutch TV crew are seeking donations? Oh, no, the Lions Food Hub. Oh, okay. With bucket collections taking place around the ground, please give generously. The hub will also be accepting donations as they look to support those most in need as the winter months draw near. I wonder if they've got any heated blankets that they can give to all these old people that have had their winter fuel payments taken from them. Or maybe some woolly hats from the club shop. So open from 12:30 to 2:50. The hub is situated next to the Millwall Community Trust and also opposite the Blue Bus outside the Coblow Lane stand are low on the following stock. Spaghetti. Just spaghetti, not any linguine or penne or fusilli or coccocelli. I guess maybe just spaghetti. Shower gel, shampoo, cereal, sanitary products, tinned vegetables, tinned meat, spam, squash. Now, I'm not posh by any means, but when I see the word squash, I think they're talking like butternut squash. But I think they're talking like Robinson's barley water. which is that their name has been stolen by butternut squash. I think they call it cordial now to try and distance themselves from the butternut squash. Healthy snacks, cat and dog food. Lions fans are known for their incredible generosity, so please continue to donate and maybe get yourself on TV at the same time. Yeah, well, it's Dutch TV though, isn't it? It's not really the same thing. So yeah, that's happening ahead of the game on tomorrow. And we've got this as well. Mill backing Play Safe Weekend 2024. English football unites this weekend to promote Play Safe, the national campaign to focus attention on the vital importance of safeguarding across our game. Millwall Football Club is right behind Play Safe, which is endorsed by the NSPCC and supported across every level of English football, including the Premier League, EFL, Barclays Women's Super League, Barclays Women's Championship, Men's and Women's National Leagues, and across the grassroots game. Safeguarding is at the forefront of all activities within Millwall Football Club, and the safeguarding of children, young people and adults at risk is paramount. Everyone at Millwall Football Club understands their role and responsibility to ensure we have a safe environment for all, whether you are a player, parent, staff member or a fan, said Katie Whitmore Ewing, designated safeguarding officer. This weekend, ahead of the Play Safe weekend, the Academy will have our new safeguarding signs for spectators to promote letting our players roar, which is a great way to remind the spectators of sideline behaviours too. And then someone from the FA says something, and there you go. So I think what they're talking about is like abusing, not just, you know, nonce abuse, shall we say, because I can't really say it's YouTube, so I can't say the words, but just like being aggressive with the players if they've done something wrong and things like that. Just don't really want to see, you know. And you I don't know if it goes on, but you obviously hear it at the football on a Sunday where the referees get it and the, you know, the linesmen get it, and there's a lot of stick. You do sometimes have like the parents and stuff like abusing the kids and stuff, which is not good. You know, let's not do that. So there you go. Now moving on to this. Mill boss picks out big strength of Preston North End side ahead of Den clash. Is it their ability to bite players? Because I hear they're very good at that. This is from the southernnews.co.uk. So Mill boss Neil Harris said he's expecting Preston North End to be very difficult to play against as his side faces them this Saturday at the Den. Harris suggested his players must be at their best to negate Preston's threat. Oh, they're very difficult to play against, Harris said. You know, they're very man-to-man oriented. You know, we've been impressed with what they do. The Lions manager said he expected Saturday's game to be similar to the one last week at Loftus Road when Mill drew with QPR despite an impressive attacking performance. Well, I certainly hope it isn't like that game because I would like to win it. Oh, QPR were a huge side last week to play against, and you know, Preston will be the same, Harris said. You know, they've not created or scored a lot of opportunities this year, but I'm sure that will change with time. You know, on Saturday, we have to make sure that we impose our game on them and cause them problems. And we have to make sure that we're at our best to deal with them and get a win. A victory at the Den this weekend will mark the team's second in the league this season. Both Mill and Preston are level on points going into the game, although Mill currently have a better goal difference. The Lily and White's last outing was a goalless draw at home to Blackburn Rovers, both teams receiving red cards. And I think the story ends there, but it goes down, yeah. Now, moving on to this. General information ahead of Millwall versus Preston North End. You are advised to arrive early if you're purchasing tickets to prevent lengthy queues. You can purchase tickets in the main ticket office. All memberships have been posted out. If you have ordered a ticket and not received it, please contact the ticket office and a replacement ticket will be ready for you to collect on match day. Alternatively, head to the ticket office on match day and a reprint will then be supplied to you. Yeah, I don't know about you, but obviously it's been pissing down this week. You generally find, and I understand this, that, you know, the postmen don't deliver when it's raining hard. If it's a little bit of spitting or it's like showers that are blowing through, they might deliver. But when it's like all day rain, they ain't coming anywhere. They ain't going nowhere. So I don't know about you, but that where I live, it's like, I don't know about you. Maybe yours come out rain and shine. I don't know. So yeah. There are no planned train issues this weekend. The Lions store will be open before kick-off. Sampers Family Fun Zone will be open between 12:30 and 2:30 in the Lions Centre. And Harry's Bar and the SC16 Fan Zone will be open from 1:30. The club will mark play safe that we just mentioned, and donations to the Lions Food Hub with the Dutch TV crew also in attendance. So there you go. Now moving on to this matchday mascots, and here we go. So on the right hand side is Bobby Brindle. Saturday's Junior Lions mascot is Bobby Brindle. Bobby plays for his school football team and also Halsford. His hobbies include football and fishing, whilst his favourite player is Jeffet Tanganga, who is pictured with above. Next up is Mason Morrell. Mason Morrell is excited to be mascot for the second year running to celebrate his 9th birthday on the 7th of October. Wow. His hobbies include playing football, going to the den to see Mill games with his granddad, and meeting all the players at any opportunity he can. His favourite player is Lucas Jensen, as Mason is an aspiring goalkeeper himself. He predicts that Mill will win on Saturday, and it will make an amazing birthday present for him if they do. And next up we have Ava Bolger. Ava's 10 years old and enjoys playing and watching football. Her favourite player is Jake Cooper, and her score prediction for Saturday's game is a 2-0 Millwall win. We hope you all have an amazing day. Now, the Millwall message board for the Preston North End game. Happy 11th birthday to Sid, who's on the right there. Happy birthday for Joseph Tagliarini. We're 6 guys running 10k in every single city in England. That's 55 cities. Jesus. So 550k. Are you all doing it, or are you splitting it up? There's 6 of you. All in the space of 2 weeks. They must be splitting it up then. There's no way 6 of them are going to do 55 runs in 2 weeks. No way. Our goal is set to raise as much money as possible for Prostate Cancer UK and get all the local communities involved along the way. We're centering this challenge around football clubs to both tap into that community spirit and also as an ode to Tom's dad, who we sadly lost to cancer in 2017. He was a massive football fan and he had a dream to visit every single stadium in England before he passed. One man every 45 minutes dies of prostate cancer. That's 2 gone every time you watch a match. It's so important to raise awareness and funds for research, so please give whatever you can and join us in Oxford for our run, or simply for moral support. Indeed, I think there's a picture of them there. There's only 5 of them. If you didn't know, I'll let you know now. So the old joke is, you got prostate cancer, you go to the doctor, he puts a rubber glove on, tells you to bend over, and he sticks 2 fingers up your bum hole. They don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to. They don't even want to. They didn't want to in the start. Who wants to do that? They just take a blood test and they can tell with a blood test. They don't need to stick any fingers up your bum hole. So don't worry about that. If you've got problems and weird feelings downstairs, go to a doctor and get it sorted out. Oh, hang on. I have forgotten to do something. I've forgotten to pull up the history, so give me 1 second, I'll just fix that now. This one? That one? Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. We're doing it live. We're doing it live, people. So, here we have the historical record of games between Millwall and Preston North End at Millwall Football Club. This is from 11v11.com. And as you can see, the first game against them was a massive win, 4-1 in the FA Cup in 1903, which wasn't even at the Den. That would have been at one of the older grounds, probably one in North Woolwich. After that, 26 years later, 1929, a 3-1 win. The first time we lose to them is after 4 games in October 1930. 5-7. Holy fucking shit. That would have been fantastic. What a game to go to. Fucking 12 goals. 12 goals. That must be one of the weirdest games going on. 5-7. How many 5-7s have there been? How many? That must be a scoregami. That must be a unique score. Maybe in Millwall or in any other. How many 5-7 defeats have we had? Or 7-5? That is insane. But then you can see the year later we go back to 4-1. Bosh, have it. Then we have a period of 3 games where we don't beat them, which is unusual. 2 in 1933, obviously 1 in 1948. Obviously a lot going on at that time, so probably a bit distracted. That 48 one was in the FA Cup, seemingly the 3rd round because it's the 10th of January. Maybe in a replay. But you can see, green. We win. 4-1, 5-1. Another defeat, rare defeat, comes in 1979, in 22nd of May, so that would have been at the end of the season, 2-0 defeat. Maybe we were already on the beach. Or it wouldn't have been, I don't know if in 1979 it would have been a foreign beach. I mean, it was somewhere like Brighton or somewhere like that. But then, 1981, we go back to green, win. We're not even drawing these games. These are wins. This is a hell of a lot of wins against Preston North End at home. 1998, we lose 1-0. And again, we go 3 games. We have the weird 3-game rule where we don't win for 3 games. 2 defeats and a draw. 2 wins, another rare defeat. 2003. A win, another rare defeat, 2005, and then we go back to winning ways, broken up again by a 2-game run of 2018 and 2019 where we draw and we lose. And we are now at the moment on an unbeaten run, going back to 2019, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games unbeaten run. Not the highest of scores, but going back, we got a 4-0 here. We've seen up here 5-1, 4-1. Some big scores, 4-1, 4-1. So weird that we played, what was it, with a 1, 2, 3, 4-1s and a 4-0. So this is a game that I would suggest that we should be winning, really. If you base it on the probability of the history of the situation, this is a win all day long. We are also in the situation in our current league where we've only won 1 game this season, which is kind of annoying, even though we have been performing well. We should probably be doing better than that. So, it would be fair to say that if we don't win tomorrow, the alarm bells will be ring-a-ling-a-linging. So now let's move on to this from sportsmole.co.uk. Mill and Preston North End square off at the Den on Saturday afternoon, looking for the win that they need to surge up the championship standings. With just 1 victory apiece, these 2 teams currently occupy 18th and 21st positions in the table. Having ended last season with 5 successive victories, there were high hopes that Millwall could return for 24-25 and do the same. Instead, the opening 6 weeks of the campaign have been a struggle, the Lions racking up just 1 win and 5 points. On a positive note, Neil Harris' side appear to have turned the corner with the aforementioned 5 points coming from the last 4 fixtures. As well as a 3-0 triumph over Sheffield Wednesday, away draws have been posted at Hull City and Queen's Park Rangers, respectively. Furthermore, Mill have conceded just twice in that quartet of contests, neither of which came in the second half. Meanwhile, Preston are still adjusting to life under Paul Heckingbottom, who arrived at Deepdale with the club having lost their opening 2 games. Just like their next opponents, 5 points have been since been accumulated from the last 4 games, albeit the 2 draws since the international break. Preston can be more than satisfied with each, though, given that they were away at Middlesbrough and at home to unbeaten rivals Blackburn Rovers. In the long term, however, this is a team that is without an away victory since March the 16th, a period spanning 8 matches. Oh dear, Millwall fans, you know what that means. They haven't had an away victory from last season since March the 16th. That means that... Are they going to win tomorrow? Wouldn't put it past them. Team news. Millwall will be without the trio Billy Mitchell, Tom Bradshaw and Josh Coburn for this contest. Harris could plausibly select the same side that started against QPR, although Mihailo Ivanovic could be handed his full debut in the final third. I don't believe that's going to be happening because, as we mentioned in the video probably 2 days ago, Neil Harris said in his pre-match that Mihailo Ivanovic was kind of scheduled to do 45 minutes because obviously the way it works now is they have to get their fitness up, and then they tell them, the medical guys tell them like how many minutes can he do in a match, and they say, well, that's why you get players who come off the bench all the time when they're coming back from injuries, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 60 minutes and 45 minutes. So I don't think he's going to be starting. He will be on the bench probably. Heckingbottom will have to make at least one change to his Preston 11, courtesy of Sam Greenwood sending off against Blackburn. Dwayne Holmes or Will Keane appear most likely to be recalled in the final third, the rest of the team potentially staying the same, with Milan Osmajic under investigation for biting Blackburn's Owen Beck. The forward may not play any part of this contest. I doubt that. So, they say Millwall 1, Preston North End 2. Although Preston are yet to win on their travels in the league, earning a draw at Middlesbrough was a step in the right direction. With that in mind, we are backing them to edge out their hosts in a competitive encounter in the capital. Oh shit. Okay. So let's move on to whoscored.com and see what they say. So here's the last 6 matches. We have not many goals. We've got 7 goals for Millwall. We've got 5 goals for Preston. And that's 3 wins for Millwall, 2 draws, and only 1 win for Preston. And that was a 3-1 win back in February 2019. 12 yellow cards for us, 11 for them. Now, interestingly, both teams are the same. We've won 1 game. They've won 1 game. We've drawn 2. They've drawn 2. We've lost 3. They've lost 3. However, they've only scored 3 goals. They've conceded 9. So, if they have trouble scoring, if we keep a clean sheet tomorrow, you would imagine that we'll win the game. So, if we look at... So this is the home games for Millwall so far this season, the away games for Preston so far this season. If you look at Millwall, obviously, now I'm looking at this, it doesn't look good, really, does it? I mean, we can look at the Sheffield Wednesday game, but that seems to be an outlier, because every other game has been a defeat. Obviously, the Watford game, the goalkeeper had a bit of a mare in that one. We lost 3-2. And the defence, obviously, no Tanganga. Leighton Orient game. Yeah, that was a bit rough. That was incredibly rough to watch that. And then the Luton game last week, or whenever, was it last? No, the week before, a couple of weeks ago. So we failed to score in that game and we conceded 1 goal. So you can see the only game we've won is the game where we kept a clean sheet. Now going back to Preston, they can score because when they played Harrogate Town away in the Carabao Cup, they won 5-0. And as we mentioned, obviously that game there where they failed to score against Swansea, where they lost 3-0, that was under the old manager. The new manager's come in. The last 2 games, they scored at Oxford. They lost 3-1, and then they scored away at Middlesbrough. So they can score. So can we keep them out? So interestingly, that's kind of weird. if they've only scored 3 goals this season in the league, they've scored 2 of them in two of them in the away games. So they've only scored 1 goal at home, which is crazy. And here you go, strengths and weaknesses. So we've got a lot more strengths and they've got a lot more weaknesses. Interesting. So, let's get on to the prediction from WhoScored.com. And they say, marquee signing, they picked the team. I'm not going to read that because they picked the team. They say here, again, striker Milutin Osmajic is under investigation for allegedly biting Owen Beck, and while no ban has been issued, the Montenegrin striker is unlikely to feature here. Well, we'll see, we will see how that works out. And their prediction is Duncan Watmore's 35th minute goal put Millwall ahead for just 5 minutes last weekend as QPR bounced back to save a point despite being outshot 16-7 by Neil Harris's men. The South London-based outfit have won just one of their first 6 league games this season, but face another struggling side here. The Lancashire derby was marred by an incident involving Osmajic and Owen Beck last weekend, but the result in isolation was a positive one for Preston, who held off their unbeaten visitors despite playing over 50 minutes with 10 men. Paul Heckingbottom's men are still searching for their first away league win of the season, and they go Millwall 1, Preston 1. Yeah, what can you say? I don't know what to say. This is a game we should win based on the history of the thing, but seeing as it is right now and currently where both teams are on the same, obviously this is literally, I know it's early on in the season, this is a 6-pointer. Like, both teams are at the bottom of the table, and whoever wins this is going to jump up the table, because that's how it is in the early stages of the season. I think whoever wins this could jump up to about 8th or 9th. So I hope that we do win. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. We should win. And if we do, seeing in the history of the previous results against Preston at home, maybe it could be a bit of a whacking. And I would say Langstaff looked very good against QPR. Very good. And if he plays tomorrow, he's obviously a player who scored bags of goals. If he plays tomorrow, I think he's going to score. Now, can we keep a clean sheet? I've still got worries about his goalkeeper. His post-shot XG is a bit ropey, which means the XG based on the positioning of the defending players increases after the shot, which is not good. You want it to go down. I think tomorrow we will win. I think it's probably going to be. I hope it's going to be 3-1. I think it's going to be Millwall 3, Preston 1. I think Langstaff will get a couple. I think he's the type of player, he was on it at the QPR game, he got the assist, and he had that shot where he literally took it very quickly and bang bang and whipped it in just to the left of the post. I think he's gonna be up for it tomorrow, and I think it's gonna be 3-1 Millwall. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.